White people didn't invent slavery.
Hmm.
In fact, they were the first to end it. Yet somehow, saying this is controversial. Watch what happens when someone says it out loud.
The reason there is no slavery in the world today, in the parts of the world where there's no slavery, is because the British Empire ended it. That's why there is no slavery.
Slavery is evil, but it's an ancient human evil practiced by everyone to everyone. 4 years ago, I went to Ghana. I stood in a slave dungeon where people who looked like me sold people who looked like me to white people. But long before Europeans began the transatlantic slave trade, there was a trans-Saharan slave trade. For over 1,000 years, brown Arab slavers sold millions of black Africans across the Sahara. Then came the Barbary slave trade. In North Africa, Arab and African raiders captured and sold over 1 million white Christian Europeans. Europeans did take slavery to another scale when they came to Africa. But it's not because they were more evil. It's because they had the technology to commit evil on an industrial scale. Which major power stopped slavery first? The British, in large part because of pro-human Christian values.
All right, so black folks, you can stop blaming white people for slavery. You can stop being mad and being upset and say the white folks enslaved us, but it started with us. It started with the brown Arabs and the black Africans. When y'all gonna wake up and stop blaming people for what we created? That's why I picked this video to talk about, because we like to talk about real stuff here. A lot of y'all still blaming white folks for y'all failures and saying, oh, they enslaved us. I need 40 acres and a mule. When we started the whole slave trade, slavery and everything that we've had before, it was because we used to have wars, and then we would conquer people. And then the people we conquer, we make them work for free. That's what we did. How did the transatlantic slave trade start? How did they get all of these Africans? You think these Europeans came in here killing everybody? No, they came in here negotiating with African leaders. So the slaves came from black people. You really think these Europeans came down here and was trying to fight everybody? No, they negotiated with the king, and the king sold the people to send off to America. One of the reasons why we have the trade ended was because of insurance. What these slave traders would do is they would go out and then throw a bunch of black people over the boat and get the insurance money. That's one of the reasons why the Britons stepped in and tried to abolish it, and they did, because of that and Christian values. Follow the money, follow the religion. So now we can stop sitting here blaming white folks for the things that happened to us when we created it. How many things have we created that were bad? And then when somebody else does it, we get mad, but we created it. Wake up. Stop blaming people, especially the older black folks that bring that down through generations and telling us, oh, don't let the white man do this. Don't let the white man do this. All this stuff, a lot of these things that happened, that was happening to us, where do you think they got it from? Us. We still do it now to ourselves. We still have this slave mentality. We still want to, be a rapper, and we take these slave deals from our own people that put us on, that are our managers, that are our agents. I love information. I love when we finally wake up and be like, damn, we did start this slavery shit. We did give the people, the Europeans, the people they needed to take to America. It's our fault. When we gonna look in the mirror and really take accountability for what we did wrong? We created slavery. And then, you know what the Europeans did? They just made a lot of money off of it. But we was doing the same thing for so many years. But I love to see stuff like this to enlighten us, to show that the things that happened to us came from our own hands and our own thoughts. Evil is evil. But this slavery came from Africa. And then we were so cold with it back in the day, we were enslaving white folks. So what y'all got to say about that?
The same values America was founded on, the same values that drove white Americans to fight other white Americans to free black Americans in the Civil War. Values missing in places like Libya, where today you can buy a human being for $400. White people
$400.
aren't better than anyone
Crazy.
else, but they're also not worse. Yet, some black people are taught to hate white people, and many white people are taught to hate themselves. We keep pretending evil has a color, as if less melanin means less morality. That lie makes us ignore history and fuels racial hatred. Right now, much of that hatred is aimed at white people. But why should black or brown people care? Because hatred is a hot coal that we hold in our hand, waiting to throw at another. It burns them, but it burns us too. It turns every problem into white supremacy while defending black degeneracy. And when the pendulum swings back, white people react with hostility, and then they defend white degeneracy. The only way out of this is to stop making morality about the color of people. Because in our capacity for good and evil, we are all equals.
What I love about this, evil came from all races, all colors. There's not just one race that's evil. We all done some evil in our culture, in our race. We've all done some evil. If you trace back our lineage, we all got something types of evil. What we have now is we have people that are trying to say we ain't bad, we're good. Or we're trying to say I'm good, but they're bad. We all got evil. We all done bad things that our cultures have done. But there's no excuse for you to continue to do that evil. Well, they enslaved us in America, so we're going to be mean to them and call them this and that. But what about we slaved them back in the day? So what we doing here? We can't say this person's evil, I'm not evil. We need to really worry about what we going to do as a person. See, you guys get so caught up in this race stuff and say this and this and this, but you're not being responsible and accountable for what you doing as a person. It's 2026, bro. We know everything that happened in the history. We know we did this to white people. We know white people did this to this. We know the Latinos this. We know Asians this. We know all of this. How are you going to be accountable for what you do today? That's like the biggest question. What are you going to do today to make the next day better? Because what we have is what we grew up is we had, people, elders in our neighborhood and our churches teaching about this and talking about slavery. I don't want to know about slavery. I'm not worried about slavery. You keep talking about slavery to me. I do not care about it because it happened in the past. I know the effects. Now I'm trying to make the future better. See, the reason why black people are still behind is because we still in the past. We still want that 40 acres and a mule. We still want reparations. We still want this. We still want that because of what happened in slavery. That's what we at. But we're not looking at each other and saying, man, we actually was contributing to the slaves because we sold ourselves. See, you guys easily want to point the finger to everybody, but you're not looking at yourself and say, you know what? All right, I know that happened. But that's not going to define me. See, what we have generations before us, that defined them. So that was an excuse for them being not good or being broke or being unsuccessful. That was their excuse. Oh, it's because it's the white man's fault. It's the white people's fault. Because you guys will still be in the past. If I don't succeed, if I don't make it today, it ain't got nothing to do with white people. It got everything to do with me. White people ain't got nothing to affect me from failing. Only person that's responsible for me failing is me. And I think when we, especially as black people, have that mentality, we will succeed even more. But a lot of y'all blaming white people, white supremacy. Oh, they racist. That's the reason why I had to get hired. Well, what about how you talking, how you looking, are you being respectful? It's never what you doing wrong. It's always about what they did to me. Oh, they racist. So you see what they did to the slaves back in the day. See, you guys need that to survive. I don't need that. If I didn't make it today, if I didn't make it tomorrow, if I don't make it the day after that, what am I doing wrong? Don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about the Asian man. Don't worry about the Latino. Don't worry about the white people. What am I doing wrong? Because 10 times out of 10, it's your fault. 10 times out of 10 is your fault. We got to stop living in the past, stop blaming people because of their race for our failures. As soon as we start doing that, we'll make it. But as you see, the white folks is the one that helped abolish slavery. The Republicans is who abolished slavery. We were enslaving white folks before they was enslaving us. So now that you know history, are you still going to blame white folks for your failures? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's always going to keep this thing rock, keep it going. Go get our Patreon. Make sure you join that. We got the No Filter Morning Show coming very soon. I appreciate you guys. I'm out.